Hey everybody, this is Peter Valencia from ZZZGAR Cigar Accessories. Just wanted to meet with y'all because I haven't done a video in a while, so I laid out a few different things here for us to talk about. As you know, if you're in the cigar industry or if you enjoy cigars, you're a cigar enthusiast, there's quite a large variety of cigars that you can go with. Um, I started off, getting some cheaper cigars, as most of us probably do, just kind of enter in to see what it's all about and see if it's something that I really enjoyed. My dad, he spent many years smoking, Swisher Sweets, so I was kind of introduced to cigars through that. I didn't start smoking cigars until I was 18. And so I just kind of went on from there. Once I kind of went away to go to school, I, took the opportunity to start learning more. I did a little bit of education, self-taught, just basically learning everything that I could on the internet at that time. So it was, just really tried to find books and forums and anything that may have been available. The resources at the time, it was slightly limited. So it was just really me looking at some of the older books, that had come out. And thankfully, as, time progressed, you had things like YouTube or, more and more blogs started to pop up. So, and then even the companies that were manufacturing cigars themselves, they started to do their own version of a blog and, just kind of keep the customers updated with their new products that they were coming out with. So that was pretty cool and pretty helpful too. So this is just really a video for anybody who's an enthusiast. If you're just getting into smoking cigars, or if you've been smoking cigars for years, that welcome. So either way, today I thought we would go over Cuban Cigar. Basically, it's from the brand Diplomaticos. You may or may not recognize this if you've ever, looked at Cuban cigars. This is fairly a standard cigar that many people, have tried at least once, usually. Sometimes they are hard to come by. They can be hard to find. When I got my first box of them, it was a little tough. I couldn't find uh, any of them really. It was just, for some reason, there was like a spike, especially on social media, for Cuban cigars. It was just, it went from, here's your Nicaraguan, your Dominican, Ecuadorian, just kind of the cigars that are available, at least to us in the U.S. That was mostly what people were kind of looking at. And then it was just like, as social media progressed again, there was a boom of everybody posting photos or videos of different Cuban cigars. And so it was just like, if there was any sort of way that you could get some, uh, people were trying to find it as best as they could, really. You have companies in China, you have companies in Switzerland and Spain. There's a lot of European companies. There's even some, how can I phrase this, middlemen type companies that are basically like in the Bahamas. It just kind of depends where people were really trying to source their cigars. If they were going to get genuine Cuban cigars, or the notorious one that people tend to fake is the Cohiba cigar. So you can see a previous video that I did of just dissecting one of those. But either way, we're going to go over the Diplomaticos. I have a few different books here, just to kind of go over some of the history of the brand, and then to kind of just talk about the shape a little bit. So this cigar itself is what a lot of people would refer to as a torpedo shape, just because of the way the cap is at the very top and the way that it all comes together. So the correct term, at least what people call this vitola, and vitola is the correct term for the shape, or referring to the shape of the cigar. They call this the pyramides, the pyramades, depending on how you pronounce it, pyramides. So kind of like a pyramid, so that's why they call it that. So that's the correct term. So if you're looking at an English translation, it's pyramid. If you're looking at a Spanish translation, it's piramades. So if you're talking to somebody that is just generally referring to the cigar, they'll say torpedo shape. So a little bit of background on the brand itself, Diplomaticos. So I have this book here. It is a fascinating, I can't stress that enough. It is amazing, really. I was fortunate to have the money to find this and pay for it, buy it off of eBay. When it came out, it was affordable, but now it's just kind of highly sought after. So this is the book. Let me see, so I don't want to mess this book up because I got it in great condition. So this is the book, an illustrated encyclopedia of post-revolution Habana cigars. So this was created by Min Ron Lee. I believe that is an alias. I don't believe that is the man's correct name or official name. But he spent, from what I understand, millions of dollars creating this book. And what he's done is he's taken photos. I'll try to get some closer video of it, but he's taken photos of each cigar and their actual size. So let me see if I could kind of lean this up. So here's one of the Diplomaticos number 2, and here's a photo of it. So that's actual size right there, as you can see. So it's really neat. It was an expensive book to make because there's a lot of rare and antique cigars in this book. It's really, really fascinating. If you could find yourself a copy, I would highly recommend getting one. They're really hard to find, but you're going to enjoy it. I really enjoy cigars, and just kind of going through this, so you can see the other cigars that they have there. I mean, they're all actual size photos. Each of these cigars that are in the book, he sourced and purchased. And so, I mean, as you can see, there's like Old Dunhills right here, or Old Dunhills, let's see where it was. I just picked it up right here. I mean, it's just really hard to find antique cigars, and he's taken actual actual size photos of each one, but that's going off topic. So the little bit of history on the Diplomaticos. So as I was saying here, again, great book to reference. This brand came up really in 1966. It was made to appeal to the French market. So the French, from what I understand from reading this, they prefer milder cigars. So it would make sense to, if you're trying to attract to that market, that you would produce something that would suit their tastes. So that's what they did with this. So they weren't necessarily starting a whole new brand. It was more so that they were trying to make a milder version of Monte Cristo. So Monte Cristo cigars, if you're familiar with them, they have numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. Right? Diplomaticos did the same thing. So they first came out with numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Later on, they did have a 6, 7, I believe an 8, or 6 and 7. 6 and 7. They were introduced in 1976. But in about the 80s, I believe they discontinued those. So they were left with numbers 1 through 5. This is number 2. So this is the Piramades Vitola, or Torpedo, depending on where you're from and how you like to reference it, but the correct term is Piramades. So this is the Diplomaticos number 2, and it is a mild cigar. It really is. So the way that they describe this here, and I'll just read it to you: tastes similar but much milder than the Monte Cristo number 2, arguably the mildest torpedo in production. So of all the Cuban cigars, maybe possibly even worldwide, just all of the brands all together, this may very well be the mildest cigar that you can try. So the reason why I started with this video is because some people are beginning smokers, beginning to enter the cigar field, cigar industry as an enthusiast, a hobby. So why would you want to jump right into something that's full of flavor? You want to slowly develop your palate. So this may be a great introductory cigar for those who are just starting out. I ended up trying this cigar far later in my cigar tasting history, I guess I could phrase it that way. So as I was smoking cigars, I didn't come across Cuban cigars until I'd say 2.5, almost 3 years ago, roughly. And I was smoking mostly what was available here in the U.S. Like I had referenced earlier, the Nicaraguan, the Dominican, Ecuadorian, just cigars like that. Anything that you could generally find in the U.S. because you cannot find these. You cannot buy these in the U.S. You can buy them out of the country, but you cannot buy these in the U.S. So I did happen to find these like I had referenced before. You can find these on a number of shops online. If you go on Instagram, you could probably find where they came from. But if you smell it, it has like this flavor where it's almost like you kind of want to chew it. I don't chew my cigars or anything like that. There's a few personalities or gentlemen on YouTube that I respect greatly. As they smoke their cigar, they chew it, but no problem with that. Some people prefer to do that because it breaks apart the tobacco a little bit and gives you a little bit more flavor as you're smoking. It can damage the cigar if you do that, but it just smells, it smells so great. The tobacco, the wrapper, it's just, you can see it has that beautiful light brown. It has a few veins here and there, nothing too horrible, but it's amazing. I have 4 different ones here, but you could see that the quality of the cigar itself, it's just, I don't know, hopefully it picks it up there on camera, but it's a beautiful, beautiful cigar. Again, it does have a mild flavor to it, so you will get a little bit less pronounced notes. People like to go a little bit crazy when they're talking about notes in terms of tasting cigars, bourbons, wines, whiskeys, etc. But I'm not going to do that to you. So for me personally, I do taste very light cream. It's like a very light creamy taste to it. And you can get a little bit of hints of, like, if you're tasting like maybe a dark cookie or cracker. Very, very faint hits of chocolate, if even that, but not really. So it's just a mild cigar. Again, keep that in mind if you do try this. I enjoy this cigar when I'm not looking for anything too crazy. I just want something to enjoy. I want a little bit of a longer smoke. For me, I'm a slow smoker. So this is probably going to last me, I'd say, close to about an hour and a half, if not close to 2 hours, depending on how slow. Because usually when I'm smoking cigars, I'm enjoying listening to some music. I might have some coffee if it's in the morning or afternoon. I might have a little bit of bourbon or whiskey, or depending on what I really enjoy brandies. I'll reference those maybe in some later videos. But when you're having this, just keep in mind that it is a mild cigar. Again, I keep saying that, I keep saying that over and over and over again. But, you don't want to smoke something and have such high expectations and then be, I guess, saddened by the outcome. But this is a great cigar to try. I highly recommend it. The ring gauge, let me see here. Ring gauge is a 52 on this cigar. Generally, they do come in boxes of 25. I do have a box that is over there. It's empty. I can grab it and I will show you. One moment. I'll get that for you. All right, finally found the box. It was not where I thought it was, but that's okay. So this is the Diplomaticos box. As you can see, it's fairly larger. This one, let's see, June 2018. So these have a few years, probably a year and a half of age on them. Pretty decent. There is the little wrapper. They say if you hold these in your hand and it curls, it is a genuine paper or genuine box of Cuban cigars. That's not the only indicator though, because they do have it where you have to have the Cuban seal from Havana. Has to usually have the labels on there, etc. The little holographic little sticker right there, as well as the stamping on the box on the bottom with the date. So there's a number of indicators just to determine if it's a genuine box of cigars. But as you can see, fairly large box, but it's already empty because I already had my cigars out of it and in my humidor. But this is what it looks like. So you can still find these online, believe it or not, and they're still available. Great smoke. Again, I highly recommend them. This other book that I have here, not as big or as in-depth as the encyclopedia over here, but this one is still pretty decent, the Havana cigar. I know you can still find this one fairly easily, but it kind of does the same thing where it has the full-size little pictures in black and white, maybe a little bit smaller, and just about the same. So there's the number 2 there. The tasting notes, or what it says about this one, it says it's Pyramides Pitola, 6 3/16 inch in length, 7/8 inch in diameter, or 52 ring gauge. Cigar that boasts a rather full and powerful taste, mainly for experienced enthusiasts. That is interesting because the majority of people that talk or reference these Diplomaticos number 2, they say that it is a cigar that is very mild. So I'm not sure why they would say that it boasts full, powerful taste. It can. I mean, if you're used to smoking cigars, you can taste a few things in this, but it's not a full-bodied cigar. It's a very mild cigar. So this one says milder than the Monte Cristo number 2. This one says a very powerful taste. I highly recommend that you get the cigar to judge for yourself. I am going to go smoke one. So what I like to do is I'll take my cutter here. I do have where it has basically a couple V-cuts, as well as where you can chop off the entire cap. What I'm going to do is I am going to do a double V-cut. So what I'll do is I'll put it in here once, get the V-cut right there, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it 90 degrees. Or is that 90? Yeah, I guess it's 90, right? I'm going to do it one more time. So I get a little bit of a cross right there. It kind of opens it up just a little bit more rather than chopping the full cap off completely. But I am going to go smoke this. I will see if I can maybe record a little bit out there. I know that it is about 40 mile per hour wind gust outside right now, at least here. So we'll see what I can do. If not, I hope that you enjoyed this video. Give me a like or a subscribe. I'm going to try to do a little bit more of these, being that we have some extra time going on right now. But let me know what you think. If you like this, I'll do some more. If not, let me know. I'm welcome to constructive criticism. But either way, again, my name is Peter. I'm with ZZZGAR Cigar Accessories. You can find some merch that we have on our website at zgar.com, ZZZGAR.com. We have mugs, we have shirts, we even have hats, stickers, cigar rests that come apart. They have cigar punch as well as a bottle opener. So we have a number of things that you can check out. But either way, let me know what you think. Hope you all are having a great day, and if you need anything, let me know. I'll be more than happy to help you. Have a great one, everybody. This goes. I know it's a little windy out here, and we'll do our best. I am near the expressway, as you can probably see in the reflection of the glass on the sliding door. So it is a little bit more noisy, but we'll see how it goes, and maybe we'll include this in. But either way, so I do have the Diplomaticos number 2, as we were talking about with. I did a little bit of a cross cut or a crown cut right there. Might be able to get a little bit closer to see the cigar and see how it looks up close. So I have my lighters here. I'm going to go ahead and toast the foot of the cigar. So what I like to do, rather than lighting it and drawing through it at the same time, is I'll just toast the foot, circling it at the same time. Just trying to get the nice even burn on the bottom. So I'll just kind of let it catch fire and slowly burn. I don't want to force it to get lit or to get hot. I want it to be just nice and even, and just kind of enjoy the experience of getting the cigar lit. And it's just the entire process is enjoyable to me. So that's why I like getting into it. That looks just about ready. I'll go ahead and take the first draw. Cheers. Yeah, I love these cigars. Like I said, they're a little bit more mild, at least to me. I know in the books one of them was saying that it's kind of full-bodied, or not full-bodied, but full of flavor, which it is. It does have flavor, don't get me wrong, but it's still kind of mild tasting. So while I was getting everything prepared, I did go ahead and make myself a cup of coffee. I used Oak and Bond coffee, as you'll see. I'll put that in a post on Instagram as well. But I also got a Delman Stroop waffle. I really like these Stroop waffles. You just kind of dunk them in as you're going along, but it's great. They're great cigars. I really like these, even though, like I keep saying, they're a little bit mild, but they're great cigars. They do have a decent flavor. I really enjoy them. They're pretty good. So, but like I was saying, be sure to try and get yourself a box at least, or at least one or two. I think they're definitely worth trying. So, go ahead and search around online, try to get yourself some. Very, very good cigar. Whether you're a beginner or the book says you should be more experienced, maybe so, because then you might appreciate it more, and you also might be able to taste a few things that you may not if you're just first starting out. Because usually, same thing with like bourbon or wine drinkers, you usually want to sit with something for a while to get the experience to taste all the flavors. And it's kind of the same with a cigar. The more that you smoke and enjoy cigars, you're going to be able to pick up on a few things that you may not have when you first started out. And it's the same thing for me. When I first started out, I didn't really know what I was doing other than what I had researched. So being able to pick up different flavors and whatnot, I'll be honest with you, of the years that I smoked, and I hate to admit this, but of the years that I have been smoking cigars, I started when I was 18, I'm going to be 32 this year, so that's a decent amount of time. But I really didn't start being able to pick out different flavors and notes, and until like maybe the last 5 or 6 years. So I hate to say that, but I didn't really know how to taste a cigar, if that makes sense. It was just, I didn't have that experience or anybody really to teach me until I met a few people at my local cigar shop, and they kind of explained it a little bit. And then plus, like I was saying before, you get the experience of social media, with YouTube and everything, all the research and reviews that are available. It kind of helps. So. Hopefully it's not too windy. I can set this here on this little stand. I'm gonna have a sip of coffee. This little Stroop waffle off there. Oop. It's like the wind's kind of blowing out. Put it on this other little stand that I have down here. Kind of protects the cigar. Get some coffee. So this is Oak and Bond barrel. Bourbon barrel strength. Bourbon barrel. It's very good. They age it in bourbon barrels. Get the little Stroop waffle in there. It's great. It really is. So the Stroop waffle is kind of like you can have it for breakfast, or as like a little dessert. But you can see it's kind of like a little waffle. It has like a maple flavoring in between. You can get different flavors. But you set it on top of your cup, and it heats it up. And then makes it nice and soft. So while you're drinking your coffee, you can just kind of dip it in there or chew it. It's really good. But a lot of people would like to have something sweet with their cigars. I like to have that because it's about, it's almost 1 o'clock in the afternoon over here right now. So if I have time in the morning, or if I have a day off, I like to have a cup of coffee, a Stroop waffle, and a cigar. Just kind of enjoy it. I have this balcony out here. I live in an apartment, so this balcony kind of gives me my own personal little private space just to enjoy my cigars and just kind of watch the world go by in a sense, especially with the expressway right there. I get to see many cars go by. So. get a little bit of a decent flavor as you go up through the cigar. It's pretty good. I really enjoy it, really. I don't know what else I can really say about it other than what I already have, but if I were to rate this, let's see. Most people like to do a 9 or a 10 rating in terms of when they rate cigars based on a 10. So they'll do appearance. Appearance on this one, there's a few little spots on the wrapper, as you can kind of see right there. Just on the leaf. You can't help that. I mean, the leaf's going to grow the way it grows, but you know, it's a decent cigar either way. You can still smoke through that. But appearance-wise, because of those little spots, I would say probably a 7. You know, it's not going to hurt it, but appearance-wise, I mean, it just kind of looks off a little bit just because of that. But either way, it's still decent. Still a decent cigar. Draw. I say draws. I say it's just about perfect on it. Nothing blocking it. I have noticed as I do smoke these though, because this is probably my 3rd box that I'm on, as I smoke these, usually up here on the final third, the last third of the cigar, I don't know if it is just because it's the moisture of smoking the cigar or what, but it seems to almost kind of, there's a little bit of a blockage towards the end. Hard to describe, I guess, but if you've been smoking cigars, you know what I mean. It can build up, I guess, in here. It might just be maybe the smoke itself slowly builds up around the leaves that are wrapped and makes the draw a little bit tighter. But I'll just use my perfect draw tool that I have, and then I'll just stab it in there, make a little airway, little path, you know, to make the draw easier. But other than that, the draw is usually pretty decent on these. I think I've had 1 or 2 where there may have been like a little bit of a tightness, so I just opened it up with the perfect draw, no problem. So for the draw, I would say we're going to do, even though it's pretty decent, you do get that last third, because I know it happens on just about every cigar that I have from these, which isn't horrible. I'll say probably 8.5. So I'm going to say 7 for the wrapper, 8.5 for the draw. Flavor-wise, I've had these before. I know what they're like. It does kind of build up a little bit as you get to the second third. Yeah, it's pretty consistent. It doesn't change that much. It does a little bit right here, at least in my experience that I've had with these. It doesn't change all that much. It's not insanely different compared to the first and last. It just changed just slightly in the second third. So for flavor, if you're looking for something that is a little bit more mild, even though those books were saying it has more powerful taste, again, it just kind of depends what you're looking for, but I believe in terms of flavor, I still think they're decent. I would say I would give it an 8 for what it is, because I've had full-bodied cigars with a lot of flavor. I've had mild cigars with a lot of flavor. This is just different. It's its own characteristic in a sense. I know I was saying in the previous clip where they had created these cigars for the French market to be a little bit more mild tasting, because that's what the French market apparently likes. So with that being said, you keep that in mind, and if you grade it along with other mild cigars, it's own, or can stand on its own, or has its own standing, depending on how you want to phrase it. It's its own cigar. It's not copying so much. I know they created it to be a lesser version, or less strong, or mild version of the Monte Cristo, but it is still its own cigar. So with that being said, I would say about an 8.5 in terms of flavor. If you're keeping that in mind to where it is a mild cigar and you're grading it on that, I'd say about an 8.5 for flavor. So still pretty decent. But either way, you probably don't want to watch me smoke all the way through this. But if you enjoyed this, like I was saying before, give us a like, give us a subscribe, let your friends know. Let me know if you'd like to see more of these. I'd be more than happy to do them for you and go over some cigars. I have a few different ones that you might enjoy. I know I enjoy them. That's why I have them. But either way, I'd be more than happy to maybe come to your cigar shop, take a look, show you some of the items that we have. Maybe you'd like to carry. Either way, if not, let's get something to work together, you know? Either way, my name is Peter Valencia. I'm with ZZZGAR Cigar Accessories. I hope you're having a great day. I know I am. It's a beautiful day, great weather. A little windy, not too bad though. But whatever you're doing, hope you're staying safe out there and you're enjoying yourself. Have a good one.